This is part 2 out of 2 of reviewing all 85 jam maps. I am starting at the map Hall Escape.
Right off the bat, this map's details is jaw-dropping. It fully makes sense this is one of the last maps submitted. There's so many tiny details in every island, it feels like I'm in another dimension. This map is unbelievably pretty and almost creepy at the same time, especially with the OST. Gameplay-wise, I'm not a big fan of some of the trusses and such, but I mean, it's fine.
This map is pretty nice. Details are pretty minimal, but I kind of like how a lot of the islands are outlined. Aside from the emptiness, which is mostly excusable, I found the design pretty charming. It almost reminds me of old maps in a way. For an easy map, it's fine. Having pretty much no recovery is pretty harsh though.
Oh my god, another map themed around math. I can't do this anymore. But honestly, this theme is really cool. I like the way the symbols and numbers are implemented into the gameplay and the extremely dark atmosphere with the symbols pretty much carrying the map. I guess it's pretty minimal in both gameplay and design, but I gotta appreciate the theme. What a funny map idea.
This is the fourth winner so far, getting joint fourth place in the map jam with, I forgot the other map, I'm sorry. I didn't really expect this map to win, but replaying it now, I'm just realizing how deep of a map it really is. For the first half of the map, it's more of a reflection sort of thing, a build-up to the story, if you will. Like the story of a soul finally falling into place, into its mind, in a way. And you're pretty much taking the role of the mind of the person you see. Then it cuts to a really cool cutscene of, well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. And then for the ending area, it's a frantic rush to finally regain that conscience that the person has lost. And the OST itself by T-Trigger does a fantastic job encapsulating this sort of build-up to chaos, and then finally the payoff in the end, when a patient wakes up from their slumber and finally notices the nature outside. This map is incredible, okay? The details are fantastic, the gameplay is really smooth for a hard map, and I just generally love the soundtrack. Honest to God, this map definitely deserved to have won. Oh my god. So yeah, congratulations to Ultimate, Snow Extra, and Tea Drinker for yet again cooking like they always do. And now, a little bit of a phrase from a specific show on YouTube that I watched from MSS Blue. It's eternity in there.
This is a map. So it's like a lab with zero detail and no central theme. Just a really loud jump scare at the beginning. Okay, what is this? This map has the most frustrating gameplay possible. Oh my god. I almost like the idea that it's going for, but I also don't. It isn't abstract, not even close! The music goes hard though.
Sorry to disappoint you, not exceed, but this ain't the worst map in the jam. Okay, fine, I agree, it is kinda stupid, but also really cool. That's what looks so good! I'm actually blown away by the visuals. I love this color scheme so much, and it perfectly reflects what I think I hear abstract. And then you got the gameplay. And unfortunately, this is where the map kinda falls apart. It's really a unique concept, but in execution, there's a lot of problems with it. Like, it's super duper hard to sight read because everything is the same. There's random kill breaks, and oh my goodness, the layout is so confusing. I don't know what's going on in this tower. Anyways, dear Christ, moving on, let's get out of here.
What a pretty map! Oh my god! Oh my god, I'm lightheaded. Okay, so right off the bat, this is like visually one of the best maps in the jam. No questions asked. Sometimes I'm just in shock how this was made in 7 days or less. Aside from the absolutely gorgeous visuals, I love the OST equally. Fits the atmosphere so well. Although the gameplay does have its unique mechanics like launchers and such, the darkness really takes a toll on the sight reading. But aside from all this, I think the map is a masterpiece, especially the final cutscene. Oh my god. Also, the hashtags gag was really funny.
God, this part's so funny. Something seems off. You're surrounded by thousands of players. It appears that in this parallel universe, Flood Escape 2 has achieved unbelievable popularity and success. The only one thing that bothers you? It's the sound effect!
This is another map that kinda confuses me. It's a random traversal of white boxes and rooms that don't scene up at all. I genuinely do not know what to say, to be honest, but the only visually good looking section is the ending, which is really cool, but the whole map plays really poorly in general.
I really don't know what's going on in this map. It's like a huge glitchy library that you traverse, I guess. It visually is really, really interesting. I actually really like the glitch effects with all the eyes and such, but everything else is just really messy and I can never keep track of what's going on. I mean, sure, the gameplay is ironically kind of fun when you get hang of it.
This one is interesting to say the least. I kind of like the design, made up of floating white architecture and such. While it is a bit under-detailed at times, the atmosphere is pretty nice. It's mostly the main paths that really need to work. Gameplay has its fair share of cool mechanics, which the map uses pretty well, but definitely could use some better sight reading. Decent map in general.
Sadly, another broken map, but this time it feels simply unfinished. The detail is extremely sparse outside of the buildings, and the gameplay is really just unpolished and has very little going for it.
Painting a New World has a fun concept going for it. Traverse between different portals to cycle between different worlds, settings, and atmospheres. I sadly don't think it's implemented well at all. It's mostly just parkour of free models and none of the areas have much going for it. The map feels pretty sloppily made and could use some more effort in my opinion.
What's this, like the second map in a row now that's used traveling between time and space within paintings? That's wild. This one, however, is probably done one of the best. I mean, it genuinely feels like I'm inside the paintings, which is a concept that's pretty cool on its own. The design is a beautiful blend between realism and painting theme, although the last section was a bit unnecessary. I get that it tied map together with the paintings, sort of, and I guess it was added to add more abstract to the map, but it was just really random. The gameplay in general was fine, but I had some issues with the weirdly quick pacing and some of the mechanics attempted to be implemented. The speed section was guaranteed death and the last area was a bit odd too. The OST is nice though. The calmness of it did all it needed to do to fit the map. The one thing, however, with the gameplay we don't talk about is the poor implementation of button stuff. Yeah, we're just not gonna. I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm so sorry. I really shouldn't be. Oh my god, we're so bad! Generally, I love this map so much. This map's detail is amazing. It's all completely made up of broken floating roads, islands, buildings, all floating in a magical setting. The whole map is themed around the cycle of a rainbow going red all the way to white at the end. The amount of magic and energy packed into this map's design is just amazing. I think this map is simply gorgeous. I love the gameplay too. It isn't amazing, but simply fun with all the floating islands, zip lines, and crystals that blink when you hit them. The OC especially, oh my goodness, fills this map with the brim of excitement, speed, and energy. It reflects perfectly onto the design and syncs super well. Transition to the last section when it turns white in the climax of the map as a glitch effect starts to appear. It's a really cool effect. And then the final cutscene being a huge tree in the center of the map, which sucks all the color out in one huge explosion, which looks nothing short of insane. Everything about Polychroma is stunning. Truly the map of all time.
What an oddball this one is. Probably some of the weirdest assortment of gameplay with the beds being jump pads, random speed ups, and backwards wall jumps. Okay, this mechanic is actually pretty cool. I'm surprised I'd never seen it before. Anyways, this map is surprisingly minimal detail and the most annoying sight reading I've ever seen in a while. But hey, the music is kinda fire.
Another pretty good Crazy Plus as far as they go. Is it just me, or doesn't this look just like Ascension to Heaven? Anyway, actual fun Crazy Plus with solid sight reading and fun, fast-paced gameplay. The design isn't mind-blowing or anything, and it's a tad bit rushed in the last section, but hey, pretty good map for a week. Not too abstract in my opinion though.
This map simply looks cool because everything is outlined. Maybe it's just me, but I find that really cool. The map is the most basic as abstract goes. Floating islands of broken pieces of land. But hey, still got that charm to it. Anyway, this map's gameplay and such is a bit aggressive for a normal map, and the design is pretty lackluster. But, in my opinion, pretty fine.
Right off the bat, this map pausing at times and not letting you move isn't as frustrating as it would seem. Evan's a fucking liar for this. But this mechanic is a really cool idea, as it really allows you to take risks and puts another layer of fast gameplay while being a pretty basic map. The design and gameplay itself of Skytime is, again, as basic as it gets, but I don't mind it. I think some of the jumps are a bit too harsh for a hard, but that's my main gripe. Last section with the giant clock is neat too.
I don't like this one. It starts off in a city and suddenly we're now in I don't know where this is, a giant forest. Anyways, this whole map is just kinda rushed in my opinion with such little attention to detail. Sorry, it's just really random.
Visually really cool map. It gets a bit cramped at times, but I like the black and white when it's done right. No, I can't do this sight reading. Lord help me. Anyway, this map is in like a graveyard that kind of descends into madness. It turns into a chase scene. The music fits this super well. I love the sight reading cutscenes, and I feel like there's just a lot of missing here, if that makes sense. The gameplay throughout the first half, as I said, has painfully bad sight reading and collisions, but I think it improves into the speed section. Kind of an oddball map in general, but I love what it's going for.
I don't know how to feel about this one. I like its effects, I guess. But the random theme switch up, it just isn't very fun and it's a bit abrupt. If its gameplay was a bit more consistent, I'd like it better. Details are great and such with the constant atmosphere change, but I don't like it. Rustic jungle doesn't really fit either. Cool final cutscene though.
Yeah, baby! I've been wanting to do this one for a long time, and I just simply have to say this one is a f***ing masterpiece. I love it. The fact that this alone is one of the few maps that was actually made in a week is flabbergasting. The visuals are jaw-dropping. The rainbow contrast and colors covering this floating city, the crazy effects on every platform, button press, the whole 2D section. This stuff looks absolutely amazing. And the gameplay is really fun. I love the speed, the 2D section, the boosted speed and jump power, running up the tower with all sorts of mechanics and good sight reading. I love playing this map. And that isn't even talking about the thrilling soundtrack that plays behind you and sings perfectly. Skyline Obscura is the perfect crazy map in every way. I'm just so bummed it didn't win. And the fact as well that this was made by the same people who made stuff like End Zone and The Sin, that's awesome. I love that.
But what I'm glad did win was Smoldering Fractured Realm, which made 3rd place in the jam. This map is probably the most impressive in the entire jam. Like, one person did this in 1 week. Just that alone deserves the win, and looking at how unbelievable the visuals and atmosphere are on this map, it's no surprise why it made it top 3. This map is completely packed with detail. It's like you're in another dimension with the amount of floating shards everywhere. It genuinely feels like outer space. The gameplay is amazing too. I love how you can never stop, even for a second. Its constant zipline launchers, wall jumps, and fast movement leave you with no room to fail, which is weird for a 5.3, but that's why it's so fun. It takes fast-paced gameplay and cranks it up to 11. Combine that with a beautiful final cutscene and amazing syncing with the background music, and that makes a map that is absolutely deserving of its top 3 spot.
Three banger maps in a row. Space-time torsion is a really intricate map. The whole idea is a glitch effect, constantly eating away buildings and transforming them into other architecture. The idea is a really cool way to make a falling type city map, and it's really cool. I love how fast of reaction time is required to be able to play this one, and the fast gameplay is always fun too. The design is generally pretty solid, and its unique idea with the glitch effect and the urgency of the gameplay. The OST syncs really well and fits the speed of the map. Really solid map in general. I can't really find anything wrong with it, even though it didn't blow me away.
At first I brushed this off as another nature map that doesn't hit the abstract mark, but its theme being layers of nature that slowly decay into a barren land split into floating shards of land, this is really cool. It could have been pulled off a bit better with really lackluster details at times and such, but I like how the black and white filter becomes more apparent throughout the map too. Music kinda fits, but gets a little repetitive in my opinion. This map is okay.
The silhouette avatar for this map is super cool. I'm sure the detail could have been just a bit better, more than what this map has, but the strict black and white filter with the outline of your character looks really cool in my opinion. The map doesn't really have much to offer aside from this, but I still appreciate the idea. Gameplay is fine, I guess.
Another map that just isn't much in my opinion. Everything about it is fine. It's really empty and lacks a unique theme. I really don't know what to say.
And for the final of the 6 winners on the list, we got Surreal Scene getting 2nd place. Yeah! What an amazing idea executed in such a good way. The map itself takes place on a stage where you complete short trials with the curtains reloading a new map each time. Little details like the floating objects and the cheering audience are super fun. I find the trials pretty cool too. Avoiding chess pieces, which actually move like they do in the game, staying under an umbrella, jumping up music notes, all under a drawing-like style. I think that's just really incredible. The backstage section at the end is pretty cool too. This is probably one of the best ideas for the jam entirely, and honestly, I'm so glad this is one of the winners. This definitely deserved it.
This map's visuals mind-blowing. Oh my god, the amount of detail in this chaotic land of floating pieces of a world in space. The architecture looks so good with the eerie atmosphere, and the cutscene into the next section to reveal a massive black hole, sending out shockwaves which you need to vault over to reach the end. The tension is really high and just barely possible. And that's what I love about it. The gameplay could use a few sight reading improvements, and it's set. I find it pretty fun. And the OST by Codex, oh my god, absolute banger. Scenes extremely well and fits the map's energy. I think this map really could have gotten top 6.
This map has a cool concept going for it. It has these white rifts which transform into, well, anything, when you get near them to direct the path forward. It's a really cool animation and is genuinely something I think hasn't been done before, but I think it could have been implemented a lot better. The detail outside this feature is really lackluster and the atmosphere and colors aren't cool in my opinion. The map is also stupidly hard at times, especially that tower. Another cool ending one.
I can't tell if this is the one I'm thinking of or this is the one I'm thinking of. Another solid Crazy Plus map. It's okay, but personally for me, I just don't like some of the gameplay gimmicks that Thumb Magic throws at you. Like, you know, the red area and the beginning area itself just kind of fall apart when it comes to the map. It's a good map, don't get me wrong. Like, the effects are really cool at the beginning and maybe the end, but like the gameplay in between is very messy. I'm just not really a fan of it, unfortunately. The OST is nice too, but it also just kind of sounds a little piercing. Not really much else to it though. Solid map, just not really one of my favorites.
Bit of another lackluster map, really minimal design and just being black and white blocks, and well, nothing else. I like the atmosphere and I feel like it should be empty like it is, but the rising islands look cool too. The city part is certainly an improvement, it just doesn't have much going for it. I like the music, but it doesn't fit.
This is the map that took the traveling between areas to the absolute best in the jam. It's a pretty intricate exploration between 4 time periods, going Jurassic, Medieval, Modern, and Future. I think the first 2 are the best visuals and gameplay. It sadly does feel like the creators did run out of time for the second 2 areas, but all 4 feel completely different from each other. The Future section using lasers and floating wall jumps is a really cool idea. Obviously more could have been done, but a week is a week. The time machine cutscene at the start is nice, and there's some fun mechanics like the rolling boulder. Overall, solid map with a really fitting OST. I like this.
I mean, wow, that's certainly a different dimension from the usual. This map is both equally creepy and really cool. The pulsating blocks and extremely odd color scheme actually make me feel like I'm not on Earth. Same with the plantation and especially the OST by Mr. Yellow Bedsimmer himself. He did a spectacular job at capturing the otherworldly theme while staying really calm at the same time. Even syncs with the blocks, yeah! This map is also appreciatively and easy, so I can actually enjoy the visuals without worrying about dying to a quick flood. Possibly one of the best maps in my opinion. I love this one. Seeing a map themed around World's Hardest Game is the absolute last thing I would have expected out of an abstract jam. Barely even feel like I'm playing FE2 anymore with these massive prism exploding in the middle to reveal the entire trial-like puzzle where you scroll through sides of the shape. Oh my god. Like avoiding lava, jumping on boosters, wall jumps, swimming in water, all while swapping in and out of 2D and 3D sections to give this map such a unique variety to it. Also visually it looks like an abstract maze and isn't even designed to have buttons and a flood to escape. I actually can see how this relates to World's Hardest Game. Game did a great job recreating such an iconic game into a really intricate FE2 map, and I actually found it really fun, is what I would say if I was a bit of a liar. The generous part being, though, is that you are given 30 seconds of spare time for errors, which was a great decision in general. The crystal collecting part was cool too, and the spectral prism is a great contrast between frustrating and fun when you just know it was your fault you died. This yet again is what I would say if I was a liar.
Jeez, this map is huge! It's like one massive tower being surrounded by a bunch of parkour. It has really cool mechanics with the floating blocks and islands, and the actual design is just really magical. The gameplay and sight reading is just odd for some reason. The map isn't really fun to learn nor play. I think the layout is just so weird, but I really like this design, while I think a lot of people will disagree.
This map is triangles. Yeah, triangles. There's like nothing else. It's cool, but it's also kind of rushed at the same time. Gameplay really isn't much, and I really don't know what else to say other than triangle. Jesus Christ, that name is quite a mouthful. Say it out loud, I guess. Okay, I just don't like this map. The design feels really rushed, and it doesn't really have a central theme, nor really feels abstract at all. OST is fine, and gameplay is just straight up random. Don't really know what to say here either.
Pretty impressive for one creator. I didn't really think much of this map, but the descent into the underworld section with all the sideways buildings and such visually looks super cool. I love the architecture so much. While I'm not a big fan of the gameplay in general, it was implemented into the map pretty well. OST is a bit odd, but yeah, it's fine. Fits the map.
I am a sucker for this cyberpunk district-like map theme. I love the color scheme, the lava, and the design ideas for Uptown Uproar. It is straight up a banger. I think the entire floating area looks absolutely mind-blowing. The atmospheric visuals and the color scheme, along with the electric effect and transparent parts, all come together for such a cool map theme. The main issue is, well, the sight reading. Oh yeah, cool as hell music though.
Aside from this map spacing, which is from the depths of hell, kinda cool. I like the transition between sections, the sync with the music, and while the design is a bit lackluster and a bit repetitive, it's still good nonetheless. I just can't stand how close the pacing is. Lord save me, dude. Anyway, an interesting idea for Vivid Void. The map starts off red and black as you travel down a really odd path. Once it switches to blue, you actually turn back and end up where you started. I mean, yeah, I guess that's cool. Not like mind-blowing, but I don't think I've ever seen a map do that. So yeah, cool. Some of the gameplay is just so weird, though. Thank you, Dripperonis, for that little segment at the beginning. Oh, also, I'm pretty sure this is the map that is based off of Persona. And honestly, I can get down with that.
As of writing this is the final map script to write, and my hands are killing me. Anyway, what a pretty map to end this video off on. The pink and gray work super well together, and the color switch-ups are pretty refreshing. And I think the floating islands with nature themes actually work out super well. And oh my goodness, That's a pretty cutscene. This map is just made really well in my opinion. Music, design, and gameplay all sync together super well, and it's a cool ending too.
That's it. That's all 85 jam maps reviewed in alphabetical order. I don't know if I'm going to do another long video like this. I kind of put this into a community post about the stress that making this video was under. I already kind of set my release date because I really wanted to get a video out within a week, you know? And I did. I successfully managed to get this out on this Friday night, and I'm very impressed with myself, and I'm very grateful for all 6 people who helped me voice record, and of course eliteLAQ for beating a bunch of these maps that could have taken me a lot longer. It was also great to be a judge for this event. I really got to get a feeling for each map, and if it feels like I just didn't talk about for enough for some of the maps, it's just 85 is a lot, and I didn't want to extend it out like I did with that one video. You might know what I'm talking about. I wanted to keep this video moving, and if you really wanted more detailed reviews on some maps, there's other people that can do that too. I just wanted to make an entertaining video, a bunch of different voices, sometimes a joke here and then. And I really hope you enjoyed. I don't know if I'm going to make another long video like this. This one was a real hassle to put together. And although I could definitely organize it better, I'm not sure if you'll see something like this here again on this channel. Also, I edited this whole thing in 2 days because I don't know why I do this to myself.